The investment is made possible with support from Everett Cash Mutual Insurance, NPC Digital Incorporated, Kessel Construction, Ulisny Financial Communications, and from viewers like you. Thank you.
Investment breeds innovation, and an innovative idea can change the world. Penn State, along with its PennTap US EDA University Center, is committed to engaging with young student entrepreneurs. Through the IncU competition, they'll award a total of $30,000 to advanced student-owned companies. These teams from across the Penn State campus system will compete to impress a panel of judges with their unique ideas. Each team will have a chance to pitch the panel and see if they can stand up to the judges' scrutiny. The competition will be intense, and the money will be given to the team or teams most prepared to turn their idea into a viable product. The judges are waiting. The teams are ready. This is The Investment. Our judges come from all corners of the business and entrepreneurial world. Lindsay Fairman is Chief Operating Officer for Beautiful Biosolutions. Scott Johnson is an entrepreneur in residence at Ben Franklin Technology Partners. Amy Williams is president of SageWorks RX. Don Morrison is chairman of DealFlow for Blue Tree Allied Angels. Those are the judges. Now it's time for our teams to impress them. Our first team is CastPack.
My name is Ben Cutler. I go to Penn State University, and I'm in the College of Engineering, and I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I was a soccer player all through high school, and we would travel, pretty far distances whenever we were going to tournaments or we were playing league games in high school, and sometimes my parents couldn't make it. To be able to feel like you're virtually in the crowd, even when you can't physically in the stands, is something that is just unmatched. CastPack is a portable, turnkey, high-quality live streaming solution, and it's meant to help people experience the moments that matter. So we are not a cell phone, which you can take anywhere, but you're not getting the highest quality. But we're not as expensive as a permanent $10,000 setup where you can only have it in one location. We're right in that sweet spot. The money will really help us kind of take that next step. We've definitely proven that the CastPack is a viable business opportunity. We piecemealed all of the components together, but we need to take the next step into developing an app as well as refining the hardware to make it something that we have complete control over, to make it as easy as possible for our customers to use. I think what's most important for us is allowing niche communities to feel like they can experience the moments that matter to them. We want to allow these people to feel like they are involved in the communities that they love in a way that hasn't been seen before. My name is Ben Cutler, and I'm one of the 3 co-founders at CastPack. At CastPack, we create a turnkey live streaming system, a unique product that does not yet exist on the market, that we sell directly to videographers so they can add a new revenue stream to their existing workflow. Now, their clients can experience important events in real time through HD video. At CastPack, we know that every event has an audience that is broader than those who can experience it in person. This is especially true for events like high school sports, where families and friends are particularly invested in a game. Over the last several months, we have live streamed dozens of high school sporting events, generating over $1,000 in revenue, proving there's a demand for live streamed video. If we looked at all of the high school championship games in Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey, there are over 2,000 competitions, proving there is an untapped market for live streamed events. To access that broader viewer market, we use the CastPack, a portable, turnkey, high-quality live streaming solution built for videographers to easily set up a professional live stream. By compressing the stream using a proprietary encoder and utilizing 4G data, we are able to reliably stream HD video from anywhere with a cellular or Wi-Fi connection without breaking the bank. Currently, videographers rely on video cameras to create hard copy videos as a source of revenue. But now, using the CastPack and a pay-per-view model, those same videographers can add live streaming into their workflow. We have talked with nearly 20 videographers, and while many of them are live streaming, all of them want to be live streaming. But they lack the easy-to-use tools to do so. Today, we are asking for $30,000 to develop the CastPack into a scalable product. Currently, we have utilized off-the-shelf components to remain agile while we prove out both the business model and the streaming technology. But now, we are ready to develop our own patentable technology by simplifying both the hardware and the software. Within 3 months, we plan to have a finalized version of the Rev4 CastPack. Within 6 months, we plan to sell 10 CastPack units at $3,000 each to videographers while we continue to understand their needs. Looking into the future, we plan to build our own pay-per-view CastPack streaming platform, so now videographers have an end-to-end solution. CastPack is not only revolutionizing how videographers access their focus markets, but is also helping loved ones feel like they are virtually in the crowd, even when they can't be physically in the stands. Thank you.
My first question is about the unit itself. Can you explain how it works? Are there additional devices that the videographer also needs to and hook up to?
Absolutely. So it works really simply. So this is the power button, which will turn it on. And then this is how you switch between Wi-Fi and 4G data, depending on where you are. But then all they need to do is connect it to an HDMI cord. So they have their existing cameras, and they can use any of that equipment. This is just an add-on, which allows them to be out in the field streaming high-quality video.
And so it encodes from their camera, their device, to...
It can go to anywhere on the internet. So right now we go to places like YouTube, Facebook, but it can go to anywhere with a specific link called an RTMP link, which is part of what would be integrated in the CastPack streaming platform.
So Ben, you said that your existing prototype is using off-the-shelf parts.
Yes.
But you're planning to do something that's proprietary. And I know part of your solution is software, but what proprietary hardware would you do if it's already working with off-the-shelf parts?
Right, so this is the first step in our long-term goal of reaching that platform. So right now, it's piecemealed together. It's pretty easy to use, but it's not easy enough to use. So we take the modem, we take the router, we take the encoder and the battery, and compile it all together. So now when we go to take that next step into creating the platform, we have complete control over the CastPack, which is something that no other competitor has. There's some people who do the streaming platform, some people who do the hardware, but no one has an end-to-end solution.
So Ben, what do you see the addressable market size is for this in terms of dollars and cents?
Well, so when you look at all of the competitions in Pennsylvania being 2,000 high school competitions, when you extrapolate that beyond just sports, you can look at plays, musicals, conferences. I would say it's close to $5 million at a minimum. What we've identified is that parents and invested viewers are willing to pay $5, $10, $15 to be able to watch their content. And when you have that at scale, it's a pretty large sum of money.
Get into a little bit more detail. What's the real differentiator? What's the step up in quality that you can provide, or the needs that you're addressing that make this not comparable to FaceTime Live as the micro technology gets better?
Right, and so that's the key component, is the encoder. So that's what separates us from using just a cell phone. And so that's why we're able to do HD video. If you pulled out your phone right now, you couldn't do any more than 720p, which is not HD. But we're able to do HD video reliably, so you wouldn't have anything cutting in and out. With that, there is another company that does something very similar to what we do, but they are at the much higher end of the market, selling for $25,000, and they have all the bells and whistles for ABC, NBC, and we're hitting that middle market for the moms and dads who really want to be able to see their kids, but don't have the opportunity
to. And just to follow on for that then, what's your window? How long do you think you have until 5G kicks in and the resolution won't be an issue anymore? Right,
so while it might not be an issue, it's still something that we are able to capitalize on, because by that time, we will have an entire network of videographers, and we will have this platform which has all of the capabilities to do that end-to-end solution. So when 5G does roll around, it'll be an opportunity for us to upgrade our hardware, because we'll already have the software and the network built around that.
So I'm curious about your payment. Are you just a hardware company, or have you considered possible revenue share opportunities with the content providers?
Yeah, so that's the first step is building the hardware so we can make sure that we're always having the highest quality video, which is a lot of the problems that we see with other companies that have the streaming software. But then looking into the future, that's why our next step is to create our own platform so then we can capitalize on the monetization of people doing pay-per-view.
Thank you. We're out of time.
Thank you very much.
Similar.
Well, I can certainly understand the market demand from a parent perspective. And it was
That's right. I think it is a bigger market than he's.
I feel good. I feel good. I'm relieved to be done. But yeah, no, I feel really good. I feel really positive about what I was able to say, and then the interactions I had with the judges.
Our next team is VitaFit.
My name is Mason Suadolnik. I attend school here at Penn State Berks, and I'm studying electromechanical engineering technology. I like to weightlift and powerlift, bodybuilding, stuff like that. I've been doing it since actually I came to college. There's a lot of people who go to the gym and they think they're doing it correctly, and then it gets to a point where their form is just being hammered incorrectly. They're putting themselves at a much higher risk of injury. So we created the device that can warn the user against improper form based off of an ideal bar path, and we want to give them parameters such as velocity, acceleration, displacement to tweak their form so that they can lift with maximum efforts. Currently, we have the user pull the hardware out, plug it into the computer, and their information is post-processed using software. Down the road, we'd like Bluetooth connectivity via a smartphone application so the user can get it real-time, immediately, easy to read, easy to use, and they just have a full understanding of just exactly how they're performing. The team consists of 5 people: myself, Tobias Welk, Ricky Romanello, Carl Brun, and Bradley Owens. If we were to win the prize money, it would go mostly towards continued research and development. We'd probably have to hire some sort of software developer, some sort of code writer in order to get the functionality that we currently desire. We're excited to bring the VitaFit Smart Sensor into the world, and we think it's going to change people's lives for the better.
Hi, I'm Ricky Romanello.
And I'm Mason Suadolnik.
And we are VitaFit.
VitaFit is a fitness company whose product utilizes integrated sensors and relies on Bluetooth connectivity to transmit weightlifting data to a mobile application. Our product will decrease the risk of injury due to free weights through simplified form correction, and will increase the user's performance through metrics-based feedback.
So have you ever been to the gym and asked yourself, am I doing this lift right? Is my form correct? Will I injure myself? I'd say chances are you probably have.
According to the Nationwide Children's Hospital, over an 18-year span, just under 1 million weight training injuries were reported. Of those injuries, 90% were due to the use of free weight equipment.
So this business started as a senior engineering capstone project between 5 students that have an overwhelming passion for fitness across broad strength training and student athletic backgrounds. So simply put, we want our customers to train well and to do so without injury because we've been there. This venture became personal for us when a member of our group fell victim to a free weight injury of his own, putting at risk his final season of his student athletic career.
After completing over 30 customer discovery interviews, we were told that people want to see their performance, which means there's a clear demand for innovative fitness equipment that can track and record a user's progression and performance.
Regarding competition, there are a few other models out there, but none as thorough regarding functionality and none that keep the novice in mind, and that's where we come in. We are exploiting a gap in the market, which is why we have an advantage.
Our target market sector is the freeweight fitness community, with our product meeting the needs of the novice lifter. Last year, the fitness equipment industry brought in $2 billion in revenue, with $220 million coming from freeweight sales, which is about 11% of that market.
We currently have a prototype in development, as well as agreements with early beta testers. We are working with the Invent Penn State University Launchbox, as well as the Penn State University Berks Campus Technology Club regarding a smartphone application to work alongside our product.
Our product will be purchased directly by the user and will come with an activation code for the user to access the mobile application. In addition, we will offer an optional monthly subscription charge that allows the user to see their performance charts due to their progression with time. Today, we're here to ask for $30,000 for our company, with $25,000 going towards software development and continued research, and $5,000 to launch a marketing campaign.
Help VitaFit lift others to a better way to lift. Thanks for your time. We'd like to open for questions.
Can you explain a little bit more detail about what your sensors measure and what kind of feedback I would get if I was lifting improperly or properly?
Yes, so our sensor will measure things like technical things like velocity, acceleration, bar path, and displacement, with the biggest thing being bar path. So what bar path is, for a lot of compound movements, the ideal bar path is a straight vertical line, say for a deadlift or a bench or a squat. And so what we can do is we can stack up where your form is against that ideal line and give you in the know, in the real-time feedback based off of how far you're deviating from that line. So we have like a buzzer that will give you how far away you are and tell you to stop. So you can go to the app and check out and just see what's happening.
A buzzer, I get electric shock or?
No, audio.
Just audio, absolutely.
So is the vertical line your gold standard, and
Yes.
how is that gold standard developed in terms of proper versus improper?
So in a perfect world, if you're doing a squat, you want to keep your back as straight as possible. So when you're going down, if you're looking at it from the side and you had a pencil taped on the end of the barbell, it would draw a straight line up and down. So in a perfect world, where we don't live in a perfect world, unfortunately, hence our sensor to tell you how far you are from that perfect world scenario.
How do you see going out to market in an efficient manner? Are there specific channels that you can access?
So we'd start marketing with some beta testers we have agreed with to use the product, see how they like it, and then hopefully we'd sell to them, and then it would just be either by word of mouth or we'd start an advertisement campaign, and we'd grow in production and just hopefully just bloom from there.
We've been doing research into Facebook advertisements, and there are lots of social media influencers when it comes to the weightlifting industry that we would like to get this out to help promote through there.
Thank you.
Of the 60 million gym users, what portion of them really take it seriously enough? If you're targeting the novice user, are they paying enough attention to their performance improvement to be
So
a
that's
viable
what we're
customer?
hoping for, 21 days. It takes 21 days for someone to develop a hobby and make it a habit. So with ours, what we intend to do is use all the data repository that we get to hopefully down the road use machine learning and AI to prescribe workouts to the user so they can be excited for their next workout and keep coming back and keep using our product.
Can you speak about your price point, how much it's going to cost for the product and then the subscription as well?
Absolutely. So right now, with this prototype that we are using currently, what you're seeing right there, it costs about $211 to make. So since we're still a young company, we want to keep our profit margin small, so we were going to sell it for around $250 so that it's still compatible with the other sensors that are out there. So far, all of our pricing point has been coming through our use of bill of materials and all of the sensors that are bought off the shelf, open source products, and that's where we were getting our price point from.
Thank you. We're out of time.
Oh, of course. Thank you, guys.
That's where the real revenue is. They have to get the 250 down because people won't adopt it at 250. They have to almost razor blade. Here's the razor for free, and I'll sell you your data.
Yeah, and certainly the price of producing the product right now is really high.
Well,
It couldn't have gone better, honestly. I just can't believe how we went from at the very beginning of this year, and now we're here in front of this big competition for Penn State. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Our next team is Vitable.
I'm Joe. I'm a computer engineering senior here at Penn State University Park. About 70% of ER visits are unnecessary. People go to the ER for strep infections or minor sprains, and all those things could be taken care of in their home. Vitable is an on-demand urgent care service. We essentially send a board-certified nurse practitioner to you in an hour or less, or at the time of your appointment, for just $79. And at the core of what we're trying to accomplish is really deliver personalized acute care at an affordable price. The only thing that seems to be So scheduling a visit is fairly simple. You just go on our website, you tell us what's wrong, when you'd like the appointment to be, and whether it's for now or later, we'll schedule it and our nurse practitioner will show up at your door. I believe Vitable does two things really well. We save parents both time and money. So we're super convenient. We come to you when you need us. So making healthcare more accessible. If we were to win the money, we'd be able to launch faster. We actually have people calling us now trying to schedule visits, but we're not able to because we just haven't launched yet. We just want to ensure that every patient gets the care they need. Hello, judges. My name is Joseph. I'm the CEO of Vitable Health, and we're an on-demand urgent care service that sends a board-certified nurse practitioner to you within an hour for just $79. 5 months ago, my nephew was taken to the ER with a minor ear infection. After waiting for 2 hours, he was seen for 5 minutes and sent home with a prescription for antibiotics and a $1,500 bill that my sister had to pay out of pocket because she had a high deductible. Now, my nephew's case is not unique. Over 70% of ER visits are unnecessary, costing patients an average of $1,300 per visit and the overall healthcare system over $8 billion every year. If you've ever been to an urgent care center, you understand that not only is non-emergency care costly, but it's also inconvenient and impersonal. At Vitable, we're transforming the urgent care experience by putting you at the center. In just a few minutes, you're able to schedule an appointment with our board-certified practitioners who arrive promptly and are able to assess, diagnose, and prescribe medication if medically appropriate. So you're probably wondering, how are you able to do all these amazing things? And here's my answer. We worked with a nationally ranked healthcare law firm to design our model. Our nurse practitioners are independent contractors who use Vitable to earn extra income. We have two main revenue streams. Individuals pay just $79 per visit, of which we take 30% and pay nurse practitioners $55, which is actually $10 more than their average hourly income. Companies are also able to offer Vitable as a benefit to their employees for a monthly subscription. By doing this, they lower their healthcare spending by reducing and preventing unnecessary ER visits. Urgent care is a $28 billion a year industry. At Vitable, we offer a majority of the services provided at these centers at less than 1/4 the cost. So where are we? We've fully built out our technology. We have 4 nurse practitioners in Philadelphia. We have Aflac agents selling our services to companies in the main line, and already have 2 companies that are offering our services to over 250 employees. We've launched a few days ago, and already in the last 3 days had 3 patients that we treated. We're really excited, and we're looking for $30,000 so we can onboard more nurse practitioners, cover our operating costs, and deliver affordable and convenient care to parents like my sister in Philadelphia. Thank you for listening.
It's like the immediacy, the 1 hour or less angle is very important. How do you anticipate being able to roll that out and scale that nationally, or do you really just have to remain a really cool, local, optimized solution?
So that's a difficult question, and it's one that the answer will change as we grow. But right now, what we've done is we have nurse practitioners who live within the neighborhoods that we operate. So a drive to go see a patient where within the radius is just a 30-minute at most drive, and we're able to be there within the hour. But as we grow, it'll most likely, but we've also seen that people are scheduling appointments ahead of time. So combining those two things will provide that same experience for some patients.
Are you strictly a cash for service, or are you integrated with insurances?
So right now, we don't accept insurance, but our $79 price point is comparable to the $50 average copay at an urgent care center.
You have a lot of moving parts right now, not only going direct to consumer, but also these relationships with insurance companies. Can you talk about your team? How many people are on board right now and plans to grow the team?
Yeah, so right now we have 3 people on the team. My background, my family runs a home health care agency where, you hire nurses who provide chronic care patients home. So, and the other members of the team, one's the sales who helps us with onboarding more companies and managing the relationships with some of the nurse practitioners. And the last one is a developer who's built out our technology, including our proprietary electronic medical record system.
Can you talk a little bit more about your revenue streams? It looks like it's $79 per visit, $24 margins. And can you tell me a little bit about the monthly subscription, who would be paying for that, and how that covers your costs?
Right. So with companies, the company itself or the employer does not pay. The employees opt into
You're a B2B.
Sorry?
You're a business-to-business model?
Right.
You're selling to businesses, not to individual consumers.
Right.
Okay.
So we go to the employer and we we offer them the plan where it supplements their current health benefits, it's assuming they have a high deductible plan. And the employees opt in but pay a small $10 on average per monthly subscription.
And the employee would do that?
Right. It comes out of their paycheck. And we found for the companies that we have now, we have about a 60% conversion rate.
Thank you. We're out of time.
Thank you so much.
You know, one of the things I'm on, one of the boards I'm on, or
First come, first
whatever.
served.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
because it is a supply demand matching. And I think that aspect.
I feel great. I think, you know, our mission resonates with a lot of people, and I hope it resonates with the judges as well.
Our next team is Dermatology.
My name is Austin Whitmer. I am studying microbiology with a minor in biochemistry and molecular biology through the Eberly College of Science here at Penn State. The goal of Dermatology is to be a testing company which helps identify the best antibiotic treatment for teens who struggle with severe and persistent acne. The origins of the company kind of reside in my own personal story. I used to have pretty bad acne and it persisted for a very, very long time. I went through a lot of different medications and nothing worked, that I didn't even want to look at my own reflection. So it can be very debilitating and socially difficult to kind of branch out and have confidence in yourself when you have acne. One day in class here at Penn State, I got to do the test, which I'm trying to offer everyone else through Dermatology, and I found a treatment that worked for me, and I still use it to this day. If I win the money, I will begin collecting the necessary data to start the FDA approval process. The money will be used for purchasing lab space and the materials necessary to collect that data. Ideally, this idea and product and service that I'm providing will be able to be integrated with dermatologists. That way they can take all this trial and error time of finding the best treatment that works for patients and shrink it down, which saves the patients time, money, and stress. But also I hope that this idea kind of fosters innovation in this field because there hasn't been a lot of improvement in what acne is treated with or how it's diagnosed and treated. Hi, my name is Austin Whitmer, and I'm the founder of Dermatology. Dermatology is a testing company that aims to identify the best antibiotic treatment for teens struggling with severe, persistent acne. Now, acne currently affects more than 35 million teens in the US alone, and the condition can continue into adulthood. Treating acne can be challenging because dermatologists can only evaluate symptom severity and treatment progress by sight alone. Additionally, prescribing acne treatment is akin to educated trial and error, so repeated failures result in an increased waste of time, money, and stress that these teens experience. And as we all know, being a teen is hard enough as it is. The solution posed by Dermatology to find the best treatment for each teen involves the following. The teen and/or their parent will order a sample prep kit online, which will then be shipped to them. They will then isolate a sample of their acne bacteria using a nose strip. They will then send the prepared sample to a verified testing lab to perform the testing, and then we will supply them with their results. Now, this process is deeply personal to me, and I used to have bad acne. I tried a lot of different things and nothing worked, but it wasn't until I was blessed with the opportunity to do this test on myself that I found the best treatment for me and one that I still use to this day. As a result of this test, I decided to pursue a career in microbiology. Now, supplying the testing service will supply Dermatology with revenue, and the service is estimated to cost $125. However, we estimate that teens can save $700 on average and 4 months of time using our testing compared to traditional trial and error of treatment. Now, the FDA process is something I'd like to start as soon as possible. And ultimately, I'd like to extend this service and sell directly to dermatologists. That way they can integrate it straight into their practice. I'm currently asking for $30,000 to obtain the necessary funding and space to acquire the initial data for the FDA approval process. 60% of the funds will be used for space and materials, and the remaining 40% will be used to kickstart the FDA approval process. Thank you guys so much for your time. I'm the founder of Dermatology, and we are the 23andMe for acne.
Thank you very much. So for a first question is, I see that to commercialize, you're going direct to consumer first.
Yes.
Versus going directly to the dermatologist and the healthcare professional.
Correct.
I was wondering why you think that going direct to consumer is the best way to go out there initially. And if a consumer or a patient comes to the healthcare professional, with this information? Why do you think the physician would uptake that information? And
So that's a long question. I'll try and answer everything as best as possible. So to start, the reason we're going direct to consumer first is because in order to be used within the dermatologist practice, it requires FDA approval. It'll be used as a diagnostic. And in order to do direct to consumer, we have to market that very carefully. And then also we're going to direct to consumer first to acquire additional testing samples, so that way whenever we're ready to present it to the dermatologist, they can see that the test is safe, accurate, and reliable.
Okay, I've got a question, regarding your approaching the consumer first. $125 as a price point. Have you done any research to determine that a consumer would be willing to spend that in advance of any validation from their doctor that it's going to be that they're going to actually take the advice from this test? Do you have any research for that?
Yes, so the average price for prescription acne treatment ranges from $45 to $200. So we wanted to shoot within that range. And also the cost to outsource this test and have additional other labs perform the testing for us is $30. So that's why $125 was the mark we came up with. It isn't as high as the $150 ceiling, where whenever customers see treatments that cost over $150, they kind of are discouraged and don't want to use it due to cost prohibitive reasons.
Dermatologists are key for this to be a success. Can you tell me about your conversations with them to this point to define how this is going to work for phase 1 and how you see working with them moving forward as you grow the company?
Sure. So dermatologists do like the idea. I talked to several, actually one of them who did treat me using this testing results. So they're very excited to have something that kind of gives them more information to work with rather than just the visual examination of the patient's face. Additionally, we're also looking into one of the 4 main factors that contribute to acne, which is the growth of that acne bacteria. Currently, no information is available for the dermatologist to use whenever a patient comes in. So we're helping to fill that gap.
Is there something about your testing protocol that's protectable?
So we do plan on seeking intellectual property with the idea, whether it's with the potential application of the idea. The method itself is a very common practice, so it's been validated and established within the literature. However, we also plan on investigating whether the vessel that's used to transport these samples from the consumer to the testing lab is also patentable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the key is what his secret sauce
I'm
is.
curious, this
If
has been a
there's,
big problem for a long time.
I agree.
something is
Why
protectable.
are dermatologists
I don't know if
still
the
using
vessel
this approach?
itself
Why?
is
Yeah, they're competitors
enough
in the
IP.
space, just finding out
But
what
if he's
about the
got
landscape.
some proprietary...
This idea of a bacterial, maybe doing a different type of distribution model than straight to consumer.
Maybe not, I don't know.
It went really well. I prepared quite well, and there was one part where I didn't include within the pitch. However, I was still able to cover the topic that I wanted to through the slides and questions.
Our next team is Purpose Therapy Box.
My name is Holly Masters, and I'm a recent graduate of Penn State Shenango.
My name is Ali Izzo, and I'm a recent graduate of the Occupational Therapy Assistant Program.
We were in our clinicals, so we were able to travel around to nursing homes, and that was where I first really saw the disconnect between the patients and their families, low motivation, and just overall sadness. So we wanted to find a way to bridge that gap, because we know that the patients in these nursing homes, we want them to really feel like they still have a purpose. We actually talked a lot with the residents, and we determined that they loved to get mail. So we decided a quarterly subscription box would be perfect for them.
With our background, we try to source products that will help them in their everyday activities, things that are really going to help them complete their daily activities as independently as possible.
This one's ready to be shipped. So when the family member goes onto our website, they're able to upload up to 3 photos and then a personalized message.
If we were to win the prize, we would spend the money on marketing and getting the word out about our business.
When we do get orders and we see the messages that the loved one is sending, it's really heartfelt, because we know this is gonna help to enhance their connection, but also it's a memory that's gonna last forever. Hi, I'm Holly Masters.
And I'm Allie Izzo.
And we are both certified occupational therapy assistants and co-founders of Purpose, the Therapeutic Subscription Box.
We are a subscription box company geared towards the older adult population. While working in nursing homes, we noticed that many of the residents were sad, isolated, and disconnected from their family members, which can cause a loss of independence, decreased motivation, and social withdrawal. There are over 60% of nursing home residents that don't receive visitors.
Many patients will tell us that their families lived out of town or simply didn't have time to come see them. So we decided to create a company to keep those families connected while using our knowledge and profession to send functional products. There are 47 million adults over the age of 65 and over 43,000 nursing home and assisted living facilities in the United States. We saw the original need for our boxes in nursing homes. However, they apply to any older adult no matter where they live. We ship anywhere in the United States.
Purpose therapy boxes go beyond the package to enhance quality of life, combat loneliness, and reinforce meaningful connections. Our main box is the Purpose quarterly subscription shipped every 3 months with quarterly or annual billing cycles. Those boxes are curated based on themes such as fine motor, strengthening, cognition, and self-care. We also have one-time purchase boxes such as our Thinking of You and birthday boxes. Family members are able to upload personalized photos and messages right at checkout, and we print and package them into the box for their older loved one. We also include a newsletter detailing the products in the box and how that theme can help that individual within their everyday life. We include everything with enlarged font, so it makes it easily accessible for the older adults.
Many community members reached out to us with interest in our company, but had no one to send a box to. This sparked our idea for the Sponsor a Senior program. This is a great way for anyone to help a senior in need and also adds a second revenue stream.
From June 2018 to date, our revenue is over $4,000. We have shipped boxes to over 13 states. We're also very proud to say that 14% of our business has been from repeat customers. Our boxes range in price from $35 to $55 with profit margins around 40%.
We're a self-funded company and know the value of a dollar. We're asking for $30,000 to scale our business with marketing, website design and functionality, inventory, and intellectual property services. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. First question that I have is regarding how you're finding your customers. So certainly you're servicing the older population. Is your customer their children, their grandchildren? Who are you searching for as their customer, and how are you finding them?
Yeah, our best customer is someone between the age of 30 and kind of 50, 60 who has an older loved one in their life, a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, any older adult in their life. We try to target that population because they're the ones going on the website subscribing for that older adult.
Do you have a sense of what the lifetime value of a particular customer might be? You know, how long, how many quarters of these boxes are they likely to stick to before the novelty wears off or the usefulness wears off? Have you got any thought on that?
Yes, so we launched in June of 2018, and we do have a few year subscribers already. One subscription is actually ending in May, and the subscriber reached out to us and said, please let me know when I need to renew this subscription for the next year because my grandmother looks forward to these boxes every 3 months. So we're hoping that that is a continued trend in at least 2 to 3 years.
So I saw on the video here, it looked like you all were filling the boxes yourselves.
Yes.
So from a scalability perspective, can you talk about how you are looking to scale it up as, you know, orders increase? That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, as we scale, we hope that in our local community we can have a warehouse where we store our products and are able to pack our boxes. We had a company in our local community reach out to us. They employ adults with disabilities, and they loved our mission, and they were interested in having some sort of partnership in the future. We also had thought about employing adults that are retired and still looking for part-time employment.
And have you costed this out?
We haven't yet, but I think it would be, if we were scalable and we were growing at that rate that we would need that, I think that it would be something that would be beneficial and helpful.
I love the idea that it's personalized, but that poses challenge for scaling.
Right.
But one of the other questions I have, with a subscription, you have a lot of different items in the box. Do you have a strategy to make it fresh so that it doesn't get stale and repetitive with the same items over time?
Yeah, so we actually have been sourcing a lot of products through medical wholesalers, and they're constantly coming out with new innovation. We also would love to attend trade shows that have top-of-the-line new adaptable equipment and things such as that, but also just changing our themes over time as well, we would be open to. Right now our themes are the cognition, self-care, fine motor, and
So you do have an occupational therapy component to this. Is there any kind of liability risk with that you would have to have some type of insurance?
So we reached out to Penn State IP Clinic, and we've been working closely with them, especially to determine liability risks for the products themselves. And in our policy statements, it falls back to the manufacturer of these products individually.
Okay, thank you. We're out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea.
I had like 2 or 3 other
Digital picture
questions.
for seeing
They're from
pictures and products too. How much that can be looked at, because that would certainly enhance the products you can put in there if you're only looking for lightweight.
I think the pitch went very well. I think they understood our product and the need we are fulfilling.
Yeah, I think our mission really resonated with everybody, and also options of how we can scale our company.
Our final team is Clot Knot.
My name is Robert Uzo, and I'm studying in the Science BS-MBA program at Penn State University Park. It's been said that what you don't see can in fact hurt you, and that's certainly true for blood clots. Deep vein thrombosis, or DVTs, have been called silent killers because so often they're asymptomatic and don't show up until they dislodge and embolize in the lung. Currently, hospitals spend millions of dollars each year to prevent blood clots in patients. They can do this either by administering blood thinners, which come with associated risks, or they can use compression boots, which promote blood flow. Unfortunately, the compression boots are much too expensive to send patients home with because of an electrical pump that costs too much. The name of our product is the Clot Knot, and ultimately its goal is to bridge the gap in transitional care when patients leave the hospital and don't have the opportunity to continue mechanical DVT prophylaxis. Winning the investment would be remarkable for the company. We'd be able to launch trials on research and education, we'd be able to improve our marketing and branding, and ultimately we'd be able to get outpatients to engage and have an active role in their own recovery, which is really not being done. All right, thank you. Talk soon. So all too often in healthcare, patients take a passive role. The goal of Clot Knot is for patients to take an active role and ultimately to help people prevent clots from occurring before they're readmitted to the hospital. My name is Robert Uzo, co-inventor of Clot Knot, a simple and economical device that allows outpatients to continue mechanical blood clot prevention when transitioning from the hospital back to their home. 3 years ago, my technology teacher, mentor, and friend suffered a near-fatal pulmonary embolism. While walking through the airport after a transcontinental flight, he became short of breath, fell to the ground, and was rushed to the hospital. Physicians thinned his blood and extracted as much of the clot from his lungs as they could. Fortunately for him, he had survived the experience, but his life would never be the same. Unfortunately, this narrative is not unique. Blood clots are a major cause of morbidity and mortality worldwide. Each year, over 10 million people suffer from venous thromboembolism, which includes deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolisms. Of these occurrences, almost 1 million people die, which makes blood clots a leading preventable cause of post-hospital associated death for outpatients. Current universal standards in blood clot prevention include compression stockings, which are used for inpatients, or the use of blood-thinning medications, which come with associated complications. Unfortunately, given limited treatment options, physicians have become increasingly reliant on the blood-thinning medications. This is because the compression stockings that are used in the hospital are unable to go home with the patient upon discharge from the hospital. To solve this problem, we invented the Clot Knot. The Clot Knot is a simple, patient-directed device that allows the patient to engage in physical therapy and own their prevention plan. The Clot Knot simply extends the use of compression stockings that are provided to the patient in the hospital and allows them to continue manual blood clot prevention at home. Our patent-pending interactive hand pump has been through its first prototype and can be 3D printed for less than $10. This makes the Clot Knot one of the most cost-effective ways to prevent blood clots. Today, we're asking for $30,000 in order to fund physical therapy trials to validate the Clot Knot which will guide our team towards the most effective design for the device. We'd also like to package the clot knot with existing compression stockings so that patients can be discharged from the hospital, which would allow them to bring a clot knot and their stockings home to continue mechanical blood clot prevention. Clearly, there's a gap in transitional care that has been acknowledged but not yet addressed. So hopefully I've interested you in helping prevent blood clots, but more importantly, providing patients peace of mind. Thank you for your time.
So can you tell me a little bit about your revenue model? Is it a one-time purchase, or have you considered looking at a recurring business model or a licensing model so that as you make improvements to it, you can update the patient?
Yes, ma'am. So that's a great question. And currently, what hospitals do is half of this device, as you see it here, is thrown away. The compression stockings are recycled or thrown away when the patient is discharged from the hospital, and then the patient rebuys compression stockings for the next patient to come into the hospital. So our revenue model would be to sell to the companies that manufacture the compression stockings, and then the hospitals would buy as a bundle the clot knot with the compression stockings, and then it would be an additional or added benefit of healthcare to send your patients home with a way to continue mechanical prevention at home.
Is there a reimbursable component to your product?
Sorry, could you clarify reimbursable?
If it's a medical device, it might be covered by reimbursement through Medicare, Medicaid?
Sure. So the way it works currently is hospitals pay for the cost of the compression stockings for inpatients, and they view it as a cost of doing business. It's sort of viewed as good health care for inpatients to be provided with the compression stockings. So hospitals would actually pick up the additional cost of the clot knot being bundled with the compression stockings, and when they buy in bulk, they would receive a discount to provide their patients with that added benefit of transitional care.
Can you talk to your sales channel? How are you going to reach these patients at the right stage when they can benefit from it? Is it the hospital? Is it an aftermarket? Where?
Yes, sir. So the market's very large for this device. Patients that would use it can range anywhere from the immobile, the elderly, or post-operative patients. Primarily, we're looking to perform physical therapy trials on post-operative patients with urological and gynecological malignancies or cancer patients. And we're going to do that this summer, hopefully, by providing clot knots to Fox Chase Cancer Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we're trying to validate the clot knot through the use on post-operative patients that have just undergone cancer surgery.
Can you tell me about the use of the product? So is it designed that the patient themselves should be able to use it? Does it require another person? And how many times a day would they have to?
Yes, ma'am. So the physical therapist at the hospital would instruct you how to use the device. Something that's appealing about it is that it's very simple. And we'd also like to engage the patient in their own recovery process. So primarily, the patient would want to perform the physical therapy exercise of inflating and deflating the compression sleeves themselves, but the treatment can be administered by a physical therapist or a loved one, given that the device is so simple.
And how often would they actually use it?
So we haven't actually gone through physical therapy trials yet, but typically patients are urged to get up and walk around, multiple times throughout the day. So they would be using this device, upwards of 3 or 4 times or as necessary.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. We're out of time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Going through the compression sock industry is interesting. It sounds like there should be other outlets as well.
If there was more time, I would have asked
the
training. What type of training is involved? We're talking old people and medical devices. Those two usually don't.
Retail price.
Yeah.
The judges seemed pleased with my pitch. I was really excited to, have a natural flow of the entire pitch. The judges seemed interested and captivated. They took a lot of notes during the pitch, and I think overall they really understood the need for this product in the market.
The teams have made their pitches. The judges have asked their questions. Now it's time for them to deliberate and decide which teams have done enough to earn the funds to make their idea a reality.
I think they are on the front end of something that has a big demand, and the way they're solving it is very interesting.
I would have liked them to explain or get a little bit more in depth into the business model. Is it really a $5 million market, or is this more like a $200 million market?
If you can eliminate the upfront obstacle of
Sure.
here's a $3,000 backpack instead of here's a $300 backpack, and if he's already proven out the $5 to $15 on the back end,
And lean on the revenue model, revenue share model on content. That's worth the big money, I think.
yeah.
Investors love seeing entrepreneurs that are focused. And the fact that they're going after weightlifters specifically is a good point.
There doesn't seem to be an efficient channel to distribute through either. It's all onesies, twosies.
To shift the revenue model to be more data-centric, the point of comparison is free because the Google Fit and the Fitbit, once you've bought that hardware, the data, the reporting, the analytics are free. So, this is a little bit different, but in the consumer, the customer's mind, that point of reference has already been made.
Right.
So it could be a challenge.
Yeah.
I think they're really onto something. I was encouraged by some of his background and sensitivity to the how do you protect yourself legally? How do you provide something that's appropriate?
I think to launch and come out the door with Aflac already on board, it really says something.
Yeah.
And as the position of an investor, he changed my level of concern about risk and how he's operating when he said he's really the scheduling application for these independent contractors.
It's basically leveraging the gig economy.
And if he nails it, there's Uber scale funding to finish pulling it off.
I thought it was more of an earlier stage company than I think some of the other ones.
I think the medical space in general is really hard to start new and without a war chest already. I think it is $125 is probably a pretty high price point for a consumer to buy.
Why are dermatologists still taking the treatment by site approach? Are there competitors in the space? Is there something completely new and novel about this?
I would have liked to have heard more about the proprietariness of his test itself. Why hasn't somebody else done this, or how hard would it be for somebody else to do what he's doing?
I have a 101-year-old grandmother who lives at home by herself, and
Oh,
I know
wow.
she
Bless her
would
heart.
love this, and she'd love to get it weekly, not quarterly.
This is a win-win-win potential because you're providing something that's got a kind of a mission element to it.
It's a feel
we all wish we could do a better job.
I mean, for better or for worse, it's a growing market. And the scalability is something that I believe they're really going to need to really look into.
I would have liked to have seen them expand a little bit more on the occupational therapy aspects of the things that are included in the box.
The value once received.
Yes.
I would very much be interested in learning a little bit more about the clinical trial, about the cost of this, and about the length of time it would take, because that clinical trial is really going to inform sort of proof of concept.
It's really not clear what their unique advantage is. It's a pump. So how patentable, how protectable is this really before you've just introduced, wow, that's a good knockoff idea?
My thought was the consideration of a pivot toward not the U.S. market, but like a third world market, some sort of international health organization.
It is a big issue out there, and I commend him for looking at something and addressing it, wanting to address it.
The judges have deliberated. Their decisions are made. Now the teams will find out who will receive money to fund their company.
Well, I'd like to congratulate all you guys for your entrepreneurial journey that's taken you this far. We think all of you have viable business ideas, but at the end of the day, we decided to divide the prize money into 3 prizes, 5, 10, and 15. And the $5,000 prize goes to CastPack. The $10,000 prize goes to Addressable. And the $15,000 prize goes to Purpose.
You know, these teams are really impressive. Undergraduate students and the things they're doing, the big ideas that they want to, the big problems they want to solve, the big ideas that they're tackling. I mean, that's just impressive across the board.
We like passion, we like traction, we like innovation, and we thought the top teams really had something special with great potential. All the teams have potential, but we thought those three did the best job of answering the questions.
We felt that the winning group was at an inflection point in their business where they could get the most mileage out of the money that was being provided.
You know, sometimes it's not just about winning with this idea. You know, a lot of business ideas, when you really do your homework, they don't come to fruition. But a lot of what you learn, a lot of the pieces you can repurpose. So it all comes back around. So if this doesn't work, you try again.
The competition was intense. The judges were thorough. Congratulations to the winning teams. For the other teams, it is time to reposition for the next pitch and refine their company's approach. Thank you for joining us for The Investment. Prize money for The Investment was provided by Invent Penn State, Penn State College of Engineering, and Ben Franklin Technology Partnership of Central and Northern Pennsylvania.
The Investment is made possible with support from Everett Cash Mutual Insurance, NPC Digital Incorporated, Kessel Construction, Ulisny Financial Communications, Ben Franklin Technology Partners, investing in innovation, and from viewers like you. Thank you.